Why, hello, it's I, Noah. Now, normally, when I do these update videos, I record them pretty much right before I go to bed. But this is different. Because normally when I go to bed, it's around 11:30, 12, sometimes even 1. Time is 7:58. 7:28, sorry. I was reading the clock through my phone screen instead of in real life. So it looked like 7:58 because the 2 kind of looks like a 5. Oopsies. Anyways, so I decided to record this video early. Why? Well, I get stuck in routines. And I thought, well, maybe some routines are worth breaking. Perhaps doing a video log 3 or 4 hours before bed instead of, 3 or 4. Yeah, pretty much just when I go to sleep. Instead of doing it right before I go to bed, would perhaps offer a fresh perspective. Maybe it could allow for a fresh memories of what the day was like. And so that's what I'm doing here. I'm thinking about what happened today. Around 6:30 I woke up because I know I needed to go to work today at 8 a.m. But instead of staying up and doing something good, like maybe taking a walk outside or getting some water or making breakfast, anything, I just went back to sleep. And I put my alarm on my phone for half an hour. Then it was 7. That is how it ultimately went down. And I have to say, really like sleeping in. Like, I find it an affront to my senses to wake up really early in the morning, even though it's probably very good for me. Very interesting. So, it's the morning. Our family friend goes off to do her things for the day, and it's just me and my mom. And what we do is we make a banana and whey, dark chocolate, and peanut butter protein powder, or no, just regular peanut butter, but the protein powder was the chocolate smoothie for breakfast. It was pretty good. I liked it. After that, I suddenly needed to relieve myself, and that caused me to be late for work. I need more konjac powder, let's just put it that way. Well, I drove to work today. When I arrived, it was 8:06, and the thing was, it was very slow. There wasn't really anything going on, I guess. But I did have Lot for the first hour, which was very good. I loved Lot because of the fresh air, the exercise, and the vitamin D from the sun. Although there was no vitamin D today, because it was a very overcast day. True story. Most of the time was spent greeting customers and bagging, but for the last half hour, Lot was done. For the next hour, bagging was done. This was a very basic day, but one of the big surprises of the day was that one of my coworkers is going for good. Now, all I'm going to say is that it came as a shock to me, and I honestly wasn't expecting that news today. But today was their last day. I wish them all the best, and I hope wherever they go, there's a big smile and a gleam of hope in their eye wherever they take their face. I asked why they left, and they said that the department they chose just wasn't cut for them, and that was their reason, which is pretty interesting. Alright, well, that's enough of that. Let's move on. Break time. During break time, I was doing some deep meditative breathing exercises, and I must admit, the breathing exercise really started to get intense by the end, to the point where I was beginning to feel this sensation in my head, as if it's hard to describe, like my head was underwater, even though I was not underwater. If that's a strange way of describing it, I understand, but that's the best way I could describe it. Yes, although I will say I felt quite revitalized, albeit a teensy bit lightheaded after it. I'm doing these breathing exercises to help relax my body so I can reach deeper states of meditation. This is done in hopes of perhaps achieving a waking dream state, where perhaps I can access my mind more directly. Honestly, just for fun. I don't have any deeper spiritual or, mathematical or bigger reason than that, I guess you could say. So it's really just I wonder if I can game my brain and unlock its true potential. Let's find out. Very interested to see what happens. Yes. Anyways, I didn't get any water in my water canteen, even though my water canteen is empty, and the reason why was because the first break was spent doing the breathing exercises, which I was looking forward to doing, and didn't have time to do the water canteen refill because I wanted to dedicate that time to the breathing exercises. And I wasn't able to go on my last break because I was the only courtesy clerk who was bagging groceries in the front end. It would appear that all the other courtesy clerks that were with me were nowhere to be found. Very sad, indeed. But sometimes you just gotta make do with what you've got, right? For lunch, when I arrived home, I was recommended the mashed potatoes and pork chop from last night from our family friend who made that. And she even offered me a tamale, one of her leftover tamales that she didn't eat. I was still wrapped up. So of course I had to heat up the beef tamale, which was very good, and also the pork chop and the mashed potatoes, which were also very good. My mom arrived in the middle of me cooking, and with her came many Easter-related festivities. And what I mean by that is she got chocolates like Recess Easter eggs and Cadbury Easter eggs. Yeah, a whole lot of Easter eggs. But of course we can't eat that until Easter. And she asked our family friend if she could get a lamb, to which she agreed. And she got the biggest lamb you ever did see. This thing is humongous. Can't wait to try it out. Yeah, so I ate the food, and I decided to watch the Nintendo Direct on the Mario Kart, the new one, for that Switch 2 device. It was cute and did everything it needed to do in terms of showing what features are available in the game, but in all honesty, it just felt like a slightly extended version of the Switch 2 launch trailer version of the game, which I have to be honest, was kind of disinterested in a little bit. I mean, I appreciate a lot of the new mechanics being shown, but the problem with the current way Nintendo is showcasing their games and their presentations now is they're so, I don't know, like they show the information, they give you what you need to know, and they're presented competently enough, but it's just kind of meh to me. Like, I feel like this feels very straightforward. There's nothing really unexpected or something I haven't seen before with this, and I feel like things are going through the motions. And that's what I felt with a lot of the Switch 2 announcements. Like, here's the thing you would have expected, and here it is now. And I mean, in a world where things like Steam Deck exists, I mean, the whole point of the original Switch, its appeal, you could take console-like experiences and play them on the go. But ever since then, we've had PC handhelds released, like the Steam Deck, for example. And what makes those very valuable is if you just so happen to be a PC gamer who owns a lot of the games that are already available on Switch, you can download those on a Steam Deck and they'll run better than the Switch because the device is higher clock speeds and better performance generally because you can use more wattage. So, I don't know, it just feels like a gimped version of a Steam Deck in terms of what it's offering. I mean, a Steam Deck doesn't have a 120 hertz display. It doesn't have HDR unless, of course, you get the OLED version. I mean, the hardware itself is okay, it looks like. It's just I wish they gave you more customizability between it and something like a PC handheld where you can increase wattage. And you just can't with the Switch 2, which inherently limits its potential to deliver interesting gameplay experiences. And I understand the whole appeal of the Switch is that it's supposed to be like a game console where everything's finely tuned and ready to go off the bat without you having to tinker around with any settings. But I don't know, I feel like Nintendo had things all to themselves for 3 years with the original Switch from 2017 to 2020, and then this big competition comes out from 2020 to 2022 with the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck, and then Nintendo finally releases a version that's pretty much almost on par with the Steam Deck, or maybe is the same specs as the Steam Deck, I don't know, but it looks similar enough, but now you have to pay full price for something that looks okay, but you can get for a much lower price on a device that gives you more value. And they're asking a lot of money for this. Like, if this was just like the original Switch, where it was clearly like a children's targeted device, where $300, and then you get your cartridge games like your Mario Kart 8s and your whatevers, then it's fine, because this is a economically priced device that offers a good experience for children and families. But now, with the price that's at $450, plus games that are $80 on up, it makes the value proposition of the Switch 2 extremely puzzling and questionable. Like, okay, so is this for adults who already would have owned a device that's on par or better than the Switch 2 in terms of the specs, and most likely can run everything that it's advertising much better? Or is this for families who want to get a somewhat better experience on their original Switch device with online play? I mean, like, who is this device for exactly? That's what I want. Other than huge Nintendo fans. Like, that's the only core market that this device is guaranteed to succeed in, because Nintendo fans will buy device no matter what, because they want to play the latest Pokemon and Mario and Zelda. But for everyone else, clearly the hardcore Nintendo fans are not as big as people may think, because they were there for the Wii U, and the Wii U only sold like 10 million units. So clearly the hardcore audience is not as big as people would think it is. The real audience that Nintendo wants is the broad audience. But the problem is that with the broad audience, you're kind of pricing them out with these ridiculous prices of $80 for a digital download, and then $90 for the physical card for Mario Kart. It's like they've gotten really greedy and highly questionable. Absolute bananas. Not sure what's going on there. Yeah, but my interest in Switch 2 is pretty much, at first it was like, maybe, and now, much like after Trump announced the tariffs and the stock market caught wind, it's like, okay, it does the same things that other readily available devices do, but now you have to pay premium prices for each individual released game, instead of paying Steam prices for experience that's broadly equivalent. And you can't adjust the wattage or power output either. You have to take what the developers give you. I mean, yeah, I don't know who this device is for, honestly. Maybe it'll do really well just because it has the 2 in front of it. I mean, usually when you boil things down, people really don't care what the value proposition of something is. I mean, look at stuff like FIFA. FIFA has terrible value propositions thanks to greedy EA, and yet those games continue to sell well year after year, even though each year it's basically just a new different skin and maybe a new bunch of players, and that's it. And that's what's going on here with Nintendo, where it has a 2 in front of it, so therefore it's probably better, and I'm sure it is, but I'm having difficulties caring about it, if I'm being honest. I'll probably eventually get one when we're in the future and there's an OLED version and there's already plenty of must-have titles on the device that capture my interests that you can only get on the device. But until that OLED version gets released, my current thoughts are, and until all those killer exclusives get released, my current thoughts are meh. A big fat meh for this device. It sure exists. That's all I'll say about it. Okay, moving on. I watched that, and then I drove back to work. And when I drove back to work, lot for 1 hour, and for whatever reason, when cold weather comes, and my body is mostly acclimated to medium weather or hot weather, my body immediately gets really tired from this cold weather. Like holy cow, I wanted to go to bed today. Like, after my first hour back from lunch was done, I just wanted to take a nap. I think it had to have been cold weather, because normally I'm bursting with energy, but today I had no energy. I honestly don't know how I got through the last half of my shift, but I did. Maybe it also had something to do with the fact that I was working from an early shift to a midday shift. So that could explain why I was so tired too. My body just didn't really fit in with the rhythms of that new schedule. But yeah, when I went back after doing LOD, which was all right, not much to really say. Carted, lended carts to customers, and did it with a smile on my face. Yeah, I backed for like 2 hours straight, and we were telling me and one of the cashiers were telling dad jokes to the customers, and they seemed to enjoy it. So that was nice. I liked that. I like seeing smiles on people's faces from silly, goofy jokes. And afterwards, yeah, I did a lot. And then I said goodbye to everyone, including the coworker whose last day was today. Yeah. Drove home, watched a guy talk about making an AI film with consistent characters and voices and acting, and the movie itself looked okay, but ultimately lacked any visually creative shot framing and composition, and you could still tell it was made by AI just by how smudgy and weird everything looked. But pretty interesting for one guy to do. Not gonna lie, the whole appeal of making movie quality production on your laptop computer is a fun idea, but it's currently a bit on the more expensive side right now and needs to come down in cost in order for it to be a more viable option. Either that or you need to extensively pre-plan every single shot and direction you're going to give the software before you send it and have it generated and spend tokens on it, so that way you get the exact shot you're looking for the first or at most the second try. There you go. Then I popped some popcorn. We had some gummy worms with chamoy on them. They were all right. The chamoy wasn't as potent as I would have liked. I went in my room and I watched a new video from Red Letter Media. Well, not new. It's pretty old, but it's called Best of the Worst, Terror Squad, Back from Hell, and Tracks. And I decided to stop in the middle of that to do this video update. Now, after this update's done, I'll probably continue to watch that video, and I'm not even lying, I am dead dog tired. I think I might go to bed as early as like 8:30 or 9 tonight. Like, I'm that sleepy. And, yeah, and tomorrow I go to work from 11 to 8, I believe. Maybe 12 to 9. I have to double check. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on, and, yeah, there you go. Hope you enjoyed this look back. See you in the next one. Bye, everybody.